Welcome back to the Clarity to CEO podcast, where we talk practical strategy, mindset shifts, and sustainable growth for women who are done with the hustle for hustle's sake game. Today, I have a special conversation that's going to stay with you for long after it ends. I'm joined by Bron, a longtime business coach, educator, and founder of the Serenity Project. Bron's journey is one of raw honesty, unexpected turns, and unshakable resilience. After 2 cancer diagnoses, she completely redefined what success looks like and how we can build a business that protects our energy instead of draining it. If you've ever felt like your business demands more than you have to give, or if you've been wondering how to move forward without burning out, this one's for you. Let's jump into the conversation. All right. I'm so excited to be here with you, Bron. Thank you so much for offering your time and your wisdom. So I'm excited. So I did give a little introduction, but please introduce yourself again. That way, if I missed anything important, I want to make sure our guests know exactly who you are and the value that you're about to bring to us.
Look, thank you for having me first things. And it's great to have these conversations. So just a bit of context. I think in the introduction you would have heard a little bit about it, but I think what it's about is I've had this very eclectic career. So I've had 2 careers for over 30 years, marketing and nursing education, 5 sons, that's a job in itself. Very proud of my boys, but,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work having 5 children under 10 and a half. But,
And all
yeah,
boys.
oh, I know, all boys. And, I think that, going into business, after my 40s I'd literally just had my 40th with a baby on hip. I think when you start out, it's the most amazing thing because you're starting something from nothing. So going through all of that, and then of course the 2 cancer diagnoses has brought me here, which is all the things you know not to do when you're growing a business, and all the things how to look after yourself, the things that should happen and then things that shouldn't. So it's been fun. Yes, there's grief and sadness and things along the way, obviously with the cancer, but that's pretty much me. It's a very mixed bag of life experience, to be honest, but here we are.
Yeah. And I think those life experiences make us who we are, and they help shape the value that we have to offer in return. Because we going through those different, some trials, some excitements, it helps to see just the true value of life, what's important, and how to just bring that back into the world through our entrepreneurial journey and, offering that value to the world. So I'm excited. It's like, I'm excited for the fun parts of your journey. It's like, I'm heartbreaking. Obviously, 2 cancers is not fun, but I
No.
can imagine you've got a lot of experience and wisdom from that to be able to bring back to us and share. So I'm so glad.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's just I think that relentlessness, that's what I really am very much passionate about is the fact that we really want to be resilient and not relentless, and understanding what that means for each and every person because we're all different.
Well, you know what? Let's start there. So let's give your definition of resilience versus relentless so that people can understand
Okay.
the difference.
I think the easiest way for me to describe it is we have in Australia, we have gum trees, and I'm sure you do too, eucalypt trees. And I like to compare it to the willow tree and a gum tree. And a gum tree is so strong and tall, and it just grows and grows, irrespective of weather, climate, what goes on. But it is so stiff that when the storms come, they break. In Australia, they call them the widowmaker because back in the day, when they were chopping the trees down, the branches would fall and it would kill the people cutting the trees. So that's to me is like relentless. You will grow and you just keep going up and you keep doing what you think you should do despite what the environment around you does until it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the branches fall off
And I
and
can
then you
see on
get
this.
broken.
Yeah.
And then the willow tree, on the other
Mm.
hand, is this tree that moves like this and sways, still grows, but it has beautiful branches that reach out and create the most beautiful canopy. Same thing, same type of tree. The difference though, when the weather comes and the storms hit, that tree just sways and moves and goes with what goes on.
Yeah.
In other words, flexibility, aka resilience, but
Yes.
still remains beautiful and exactly the way it's meant to be and the way it started as a seed. So that is my definition of resilience and relentlessness.
I love it. And I love how even the first version of that tree, how you describe it, at first it sounds like, oh, of course I want to be like that. I want to be strong and not let anything, stop me. But then the truth is, yeah, it's once that storm hits, it's easy to be broken. So I
It
love
gets
that.
broken. Mm.
Yes. So let's talk about this shift that so many women are feeling now, because we're talking about entrepreneurship and this journey and how resilience is so important at this in this stage of their life. So stepping out of that hustle mentality that so many women get into, which does serve you a bit in the beginning of your business, because you got to get that foundation started
You
and you're
do.
hustling to learn all the things and do all the right things. But then eventually you need to step into a more strategic mindset. So, what does strategic resilience look like from your lens right now, in terms of your business? And what can we take from that and guide other women as well?
So we'll just put some context around my answer here. So when I started business in 2011, 2012, and I had a mentor and I looked online and I looked at all the online mentors and I looked at everything that everyone was doing and I thought, oh, well, that's the way you build a business. It can't be that hard. Oh my, was I wrong, because it was relentless, but it had to be. But the thing is, I developed beliefs for myself, which is, Bron, you will deliver what you say you're going to deliver. When you will do exactly what you say you're going to do. And I wore it like a badge of honor. And I was so proud of myself that I was able to build this business. I built a mentoring business eventually, mentoring with workshops and retreats and all the things, right? But I was so committed,
Yeah.
and I had this little voice inside saying, Bron, what are you doing? This is not right for you. No, I'm busy. I'm building a business. I know, kids, we're all busy right now, but I'm building this business. I'm going to be successful. And I remember the very first 90-day plan I wrote was, I'm going to be $100,000 was the goal, right? And it wasn't, and I'm not driven by money. So fast forward, I liken that to the saber-toothed tiger, right? When they're babies, they are so cute, right? So that's your business. Little baby, oh, you're so cute. Kitty cat, come home with me. I'm going to look after you. Oh my God, this is so excited. I love cats.
Yeah.
Anyway, this cat keeps going. I think I've told you this story. Where the cat keeps growing and again, oh my gosh, you eat a lot, little cat, aka my energy. Because remembering at the beginning in those years when you're starting out, it's all about energy, but you don't know that at the time. And I'm
Yeah.
giving and I'm giving to this cat. And before I know it, this thing has grown so big that I'm actually on its back and I'm holding on its fur on its back and I can't get off. And
Yes.
I'm bucking and riding along going, what have I done?
It's leading you instead of you leading it now.
It's leading me now and I can't get off, because if I get off, I'm going to die. But that's a metaphor for
Yeah.
I'm going to crash.
Yeah.
And so in my case, the very first cancer, the breast cancer, it crashed. It got me to a point where I started to look at putting myself first, because someone said to me, Bron, if you do not change anything, you know it's going to come back, don't you? And of course, when you have a curative cancer, you want to be cured. You just want to be cured. And that means in Australia, that means getting to the 5-year mark and you're cured, which is rubbish because it never goes away. To this minute, I'm still on anti-cancer treatment for breast cancer. But then when the myeloma, the blood cancer hit in 2023 and it's incurable, that's a whole nother story. Now that one brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
So adversity comes in all shapes and sizes. So to answer your question about strategic resilience, was that I chose to learn the lessons to put my health, my energy, my soul first. And I've learned, it can be learned, people. This is something you can learn. It is not something that You can, you can read all you want, you can listen all you want, but just take one action, one small thing at a time. And that to me is strategic resilience.
I think too, that is so beautiful. And thank you for sharing about, I know you had two different forms of cancers and what you're going through, continuing to go through with those while still trying to maintain your, role as a mother and just everything you're doing there, as well as continue to do your business. And that's so beautiful and inspiring. And it helps me to also, communicate to the women that I'm working with that I love that idea of keeping yourself first. That for me, spiritually, that's the same as well. It's like if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of any and everybody around you. That includes your business.
Mhm.
Because yeah, without you and your health, everything else is going to start to crumble. In addition to that, too, I think it's visualizing what yourself, what you look like within your business and aiming towards that. So like, being more future focused.
Yep.
So setting goals for your business is great, but also incorporating what you look like into that goal of how you're going to be running the business. What's your life like as outside the business to be able to think about, okay, how you're going to go forward. So what does it look like in practice when you start making decisions based off of putting yourself first and thinking about both yourself in the future as well as the business in the future and where you're trying to take both you and your business to the next level?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think for me, it's taken a good few years to be able to do that. And this year, for the first time in 3 years, I've actually set a goal. Now, this goal is not your traditional goal, and it's not a SMART goal, and it doesn't have quantifying steps. My goal in the center of because I'm visual, I have a one pager and I've got circles everywhere. And my center normally would say the business name, but now it's got Bron healing. That's my goal. And from there, we've got books, we've got the book that I'm writing, we've got podcasts, we've got business, we've got the social coach, which is the thing I've been doing for years, the social coach. It's got health, it's got holidays, it's got all of the things that go towards healing.
Yeah.
Because without healing for me, I'm a goner. I'm everyone else. So it's got Serenity Project. It's got all of the things that now fill my cup. And you're going, well, Bron, where's the business in there? Where's the numbers? What happens within those circles, you can then quantify if you so choose. So obviously I've been working for myself now for 14 years. So I'm pretty good at working out through those numbers in a way that makes sense to me because I'm not an accountant. Thank goodness there are people who love numbers, but numbers are what define or drive. It's not a definition of success for me. There's other ways. So to me, if I have maintained my healing choices, because that's my whole point at Serenity Project, is your healing choices or your life choices. So imagine just put yourself in the middle there. Take out all the adversity. Just put yourself in the middle. And who's Bron? She's in the middle, but she's on a healing path no matter what happens. So if it's not conducive to healing, guess what? It's not on the page. It doesn't get a circle. And that's as simple as I have been, but it's written in pencil. I've
Yeah.
always written in pencil, but it's especially in business, but more so now because, I get monthly tests for bloods and they can change in a month. So therefore, we keep that focus. It means that the book writing gets done. It means that the clients still are looked after. It means that the things happen. And it doesn't mean you can't, if you were putting numbers and a business in the middle, why don't you start with yourself first? And it's like profit first, like it's, you know what I mean? It's no different. It's just that
Yeah.
mine comes from a health or in my space, an energy feeling, because when I'm feeling, I don't like the word alignment, but that's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Balance and alignment, I think. What it is, that's what I was feeling when you were saying that, is that when you have a core focus of what you're really trying to go after, either healing abundance, whatever it is that really is important to you, that doesn't mean that that's all you focus on. That just means that everything else that you're in your life comes in alignment to help bring that core focus into being, or either bring it to being or keep it consistent, wherever you're at. And that's what I love, that visual of just having, yourself in the middle and whatever it is that is important to you right there, and then seeing everything kind of like a web of everything else
Yeah.
supporting this end goal.
That's it. It's like a mind map back in the day. I don't know if
Yes.
you remember mind maps, but it's like a mind map. And that's where you can add your quantifying, you can add in your dreams, your goals, the aspirations, but it all feeds in. And interestingly enough, my word for 2026, and again, I haven't had a word for a few years, is abundance.
Yep. Mine too. Mine too.
There we go. I love that.
I love the word abundance because it can mean so many different things. It
Correct.
depends on what the context of where you're at. It could be financial abundance. It could be abundance in just time. It could be abundance in love. It's a very versatile word.
It is, and it is. And that's why as I said, when I draw circles, that's where abundance comes into those circles, all supporting me.
Yeah. Well, that's so beautiful. Now, as we're talking about, though, trying to find that center and then fit everything around that so everything can come in alignment, can be balanced, it can still feel a little overwhelming, and many women still try to do it all. My goal is to try and simplify things and maybe
Yep.
weed out and filter out the things that don't align with that core. So what does intentional business design mean to you, and how can someone start building their business with their energy in mind, and maybe creating some filters to weed out the stuff that aren't aligned with where they're trying to get?
That's it. Look, I do believe when you are growing a business, having a coach or a mentor is so helpful. A mentor especially, because they've done the work. They're just years in front of you. That's all it is. They're in the trenches. They're like I used to say, guys, I'm in the trenches with you. I've just been here longer.
Yeah.
And so it really means and that's where you can get that intentional, because they know what is useful and what is not. And I think from a business perspective, um, we're wanting to focus on ourselves, but during the day, I think I have 5 pillars when I talk business. I talk lead generation, lead nurture, sales conversion, deliverables, and then referrals, upselling, and continuing relationships after. That's my business model. And I think what happens is people get stuck in the deliverables because that's the easy part, because that's what they know best. So you really want to look at those things and go, cool, where am I the lowest? Okay, well, I'm not getting any leads. Cool, we got to focus on lead generation. Well, how do we do that? What if we've got no money? Well, there's so much you can do. So it's really around, I believe, from that intentional thing is when it comes to me, for example, I can do it all. I've done it all. So it's now about energetically, and you've got to be very mindful we don't fall into the trap of procrastination. But true procrastination like I'm noticing in recent weeks, I've got a lot going on with my health and business, right? I'm scrolling more. I'm watching reels.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
go, Bron, what are you doing? And in actual fact, I'm having a physiological change. Like I've hit a ceiling when it comes to a physiological change in my body. And that's what it's doing. So I'm not the psychologist here. I'm not the scientist. So I don't want to give the detail on that. But you want to understand what you're doing to your body if you're getting to that point, because procrastination is not laziness. It's actually not, but it is something you can absolutely manage and get over. And you do that with the energy. So to me, look, this is so old fashioned. I think I'm so old. But the whole thing about eat the frog first. So it's you do the thing that you do the thing that is the one thing you don't want to do. Like if lead generation is your lowest and you don't want to do it, well, that's the thing you do first. And I used to say we're doing money-making activities during business hours. Whatever your business hours are, they're the things, not the things that feel nice, which feed you, which is making pretty bloody ebooks,
Yes.
which is
Okay.
great. But how many lead generating tools do you need if you're not lead generating? You don't need any
Exactly.
more. So you want to take that whole cold hard look and go, where am I putting my energy?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you want to grow your business, you got to take that. You got to do an audit and go, cool. Well, I'm really only focusing on, I can tell you now from my experience, and I've been in the game 14 years, most of the time people are stuck in deliverables.
Yeah. It could be one of those things is you might be stuck in that area where you're really enjoying it. That's the part where you feel like your strengths are aligned, but it may not be what the business needs right now. So you have to be able
Correct.
to step back and look at the business and say, what is in the business needs right now? And how can I fill in that gap and connect the dots of what needs the most attention right now?
Yep.
Oh, that's
And
so good.
commit one thing at a time.
Yes. Yes.
Like I know that when I am completely in that state, I will go to somewhere, like say there's a bench, everyone's got a bench or a table in their house where they just dump crap on, right? Go and put a few things away. Just a few. You don't have to put it all away, but just go and put a few things away. Spend 5 minutes putting a few things away. It's called I call it the one thing. Just go do
Yeah.
the one thing. Because once you do the one thing, the literally within your body, you will then do the next thing and then the next thing. But so you just want to go do one thing. And the best way to do that is go and do one thing. Don't go and if you've got washing to fold, don't go fold it all. Just going to stand there for 5 minutes or hang the shirt. You know what I mean? I'm using household things here, and I'm not using that because we're women. I'm just saying that I find when I do the small things,
Yeah.
send the one email. But I think it's, when we start to literally move around, go plant a
Yeah.
plant, water a plant, pat your dog. It doesn't matter what the one thing is, but just do the one thing.
Yeah. Do the one thing. And I think it helps too, to also be aware of what are the main things. Not necessarily saying that you have to tackle that. Your one thing doesn't necessarily need to be that big main thing.
No.
But if you're just aware and conscious of it, that one thing can lead to the next thing, which can finally say, okay, great. Now I've got the energy, the momentum to tackle that one main thing that I should have been doing the whole time.
And give yourself grace. So it
Yeah.
just means that, right, literally I'm going to go do the one thing, which leads to the next thing. And it's the momentum, right? And this is a physiological thing going inside your body. This is not you not being able to do what you want to do. So when we start that and the endorphins start moving, you will be able to. And the big thing, break it down to the one thing if you have to. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to tackle the whole thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to build the whole sales funnel. You don't have to do all the things.
Love this conversation. And I love how we're providing guidance and tips of how to get out of those moments where it's like we're almost reaching burnout. But what are some of the warning signs before we even get to this state? What are some warning signs that we should be looking for when our business starts to be pulling us out of alignment and we're drifting into this area of life? Maybe there's a way that we can prevent it before we get there?
Well, I can only talk for me, is
Yeah.
that my body and my mind whispered to me for years that it was not right. I knew intuitively it did. I built a business that other people had built because I thought, well, if that's good for them, it must be good for me. I didn't build it because I wanted to. I built it because I was good at it. Because I've got a strategic brain, I'm really good at creating something from nothing. That's my strength in life. I have Gallup strengths, and that's my top strength is strategic. But
Yes.
I was using it in a way that was not in alignment for me. I knew the whole time for years. I didn't listen
Yeah.
because I didn't think I had a choice.
Yeah.
Whereas now, my very first thing I would say to people is be where your feet are first. There where your feet are. Literally bring your brain back to where your feet are. Look at the floor, look around you. Yep, I'm here. Because that will ground you to the present. And then take go inside yourself and start listening. because the voice will only whisper and keep whispering. And if you're so noisy, remembering how noisy I would have been with the 5 kids and myself, I mean, we were like friggin', it was awful. But when cancer has stopped me, which is how I listened, but I knew. So I know that if people stopped and listened, whether it be a job, whether it be a situation that is not right for them, just start. That your very first thing, start where your feet are and listen and name the feeling. Don't do anything about it. We're not fixing it. We're just acknowledging it and we're naming it. And when we name it and give it a label, that is half the job done, because we've gone, right, okay. Because for me, I knew, and I'd have those gut feelings that I was more vested in my clients' businesses than they were.
Yeah, I've heard similar stories where it's either like just the gut feeling where you just know it, but you still trudge on. There's also, testimonies of people, if we can feel it physically, they're either starting to get sick or a certain part of their body would constantly ache. And it would not because of something they're doing physically, but it was the stress of being out of alignment. For
Yep.
me, whenever I I love playing video games. My whole family were video gamers. But when I am feeling anxious about work, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take a break and play video games. And if I feel that I'm constantly trying to step back and step away and play video games, that to me is like a sign like, okay, I'm getting towards burnout and I need to build in some breaks intentionally to allow myself to do this, but with boundaries. So I don't end up playing games all day and not doing any work.
Or scrolling. See, that's the thing I've really noticed in the last month, because things are a little bit uncertain for me right now.
Yeah.
And look, I'm okay. Don't everyone, it's all good. I'm okay because I can't change it. But I know that that's what I'm watching these, random. I've been watching since my stem cells transplant. This is hilarious. I was in hospital for a month. I started watching Dr. Hoof, the GP, and he cleans cow feet. And I just got into watching cows' feet getting cleaned. Like, is that the most weirdest thing you've ever? Wow, this is so interesting. I didn't have any idea. And it's this guy from Scotland. I'm just going, no, Bron, you got to stop watching cow feet. And I know that at night when they start coming on, like, nah, get that phone out of your hand, get that iPad down, because it's not healthy. So it's really, because you don't know it's not healthy until it's not healthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is so true. That is so true. And we would definitely want to do what we can to be aware, be very self-aware, recognize the signs, and have some plans in place. Maybe have some just like built-in triggers to say, okay, if I see myself going down this route, I need to do this to kind of counteract, kind of have a replacement that you can kind of do that's still just as enjoyable, but not that.
Yeah, I've actually in the Serenity Project. So that's where from where all this has come, and this is where it is now. One of the things I've created, it's called Serenity Bingo, and it's not playing bingo. What it is each month, go and set yourself some intentions of things that you would like to feel, do, watch, read, whatever. You put them on your Serenity Bingo card, and you consciously make that effort over that 4-week period to go and do them, and you stamp it like a bingo. I've actually ordered star bingo pens to actually go, yay! And then if you put them across the line or across like that, guess what? You'll go bingo by the end of the month.
Oh, I love that. I've heard a similar thing of setting goals. Sometimes we set goals for ourselves, but then we don't actually have the intentions and the intentionality each day to live out the goals. And so to create a bingo card for yourself to stamp whenever you actually do something towards your goals. Same type of idea of having that visual, physical.
It's just because some people, especially when you've gone through cancer or living through cancer, your brain can be affected by treatment, by disease. And so you might need a visual reminder, go, oh yeah, that's right. It's not that you want to forget, you just do.
It's so impactful. That's so impactful. Okay. I have one last question before we wrap it up today. So if you could speak directly to women who have built businesses based on grit, but now need to build it on wisdom instead, what would you say to her if she was right in front of you?
The very first thing I would say is, first of all, where's your feet? Let's be where your feet are. Yes, you're there, be where your feet are. And what within your business, what truly brings you joy? What part of that business brings you joy?
Yeah.
And that joy is going to be a feeling. It's not going to be a doing. So we want to be the human being, because we're not human doings, because the grit is you're a human doing, and we want to become human beings. And the very first place is go and slow down, and that's where the present helps, and really truly feel and name
Yeah.
what brings you joy within your business. For me at the time, the joy, the true joy, was having a person in front of me. And because of my ability, it was like I could almost see inside someone's soul, and through questions, bring to life what was their true desire. And seeing someone, that just brought me such joy to see that person go, I can do that. And the answer is yes, you can. So you want to do that for yourself, because what brings you joy, we want more of that. And you can literally restructure that business one thing at a time to create more of what brings you joy, because that will balance the grit and the burnout. Because I'm not talking, so it means that you are resilient to adversity when it comes, and it comes in business in all shapes and sizes, so that you're true to you, and your business is built around who you are, what you feel, and how you want to live and be. That's what I do. People, and Philippa, that's what you'd be doing with your people every day. And
Yeah.
I cannot stress and encourage people to do that, because the other side of that is your body will, you know the books, The Body Keeps a Score?
Yeah.
Something will break, and you do not want a cancer diagnosis, people, just saying.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
I'm not
so
blaming myself, because people try to say, oh, what did you do, Bron? I didn't do anything, because, excuse my language here, but bad shit happens to good people. And
yeah.
I'm not wasting my energy about remembering. I'm not going back. I'm not worrying about the past. I'm worrying about the present and the next.
Yeah.
Not next year, not next month, but the next is literally what's the next thing.
So beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I want to share, please, one, where people can find you, and two, what is something people can do to support you? What's the next thing that you would like them to do to interact with you?
Well, thank you. I think if this resonates, reach out, find me on LinkedIn. Connect on LinkedIn. Let me know where you came from, so I know where you came from. I check every single message. If it's someone you know and you are living through cancer, or you know someone who is, please head over to serenityproject.com.au. We have a fabulous newsletter. Just start there. That information is equally valuable to anybody with business. It's just that I am skewing it towards obviously a different market. So find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Insta. Happy to connect and answer any questions, because if we can remove this hustle mentality and remove it, because it's like a badge of honor. If we can remove that collectively, one person at a time, and build businesses that are actually sustainable, we are all winners.
I will definitely love to share that message when I share this podcast. I think that is something everybody needs to hear. Lauren, I appreciate you. Thank you. Bron, thank you so much for your candor, your wisdom, and your heart. It's conversations like this that remind us that success isn't just about scaling, it's about sustaining our lives while we build something meaningful. If you were moved by Bron's story, and I know many of you will be, take a moment to reflect on how your own business might need a shift towards intention and stability. And be sure to check out the Serenity Project for more information of Bron's beautiful work and what she's doing. Until next time, take a breath, take care of your energy, and remember your business should serve you too.